So, let's talk about Crete Carrier Corporation. I worked there for not even 2 months due to a bunch of just complete and utter horseshit, to be honest. Some people will tell you that you cannot get a feel for a company in less than a year's time of working. I call bullshit on that. There's a lot of people who say a lot of really positive things about Crete. I happen to go to orientation with quite a few people, and all the people that I became good friends with during orientation have 100% not been happy with Crete. I've had issues where they were double charging me for insurance, charging me for a GPS that I never purchased from their store. They would try to force me to take a load when I didn't have any hours because of a 34-hour reset. And you know, there was just a bunch of different shit. Like I would you know, like go and I was doing Walmart dedicated, and quite frankly, it just wasn't really worth the hassle. You sit there and you go to these Walmarts and you do all the loads for them. They treat you like you're a third-class citizen or something. They don't give a shit if you have other places to go or whether or not you have like a time limit of when you need to be somewhere. They just plainly don't give a shit. And the terminal, like I went and did, they had a drive cam in my truck, which if you're not familiar with that, that's a driver facing camera. And so, you know, I didn't really care. I don't mind having a drive cam camera because I'm not doing a bunch of stuff that I shouldn't be doing. I'm not breaking the law. I'm not running into buildings or cars or people. I'm just doing my job. And I recently just got a job back working with a farmer in South Dakota that I worked with before. But, you know, like, for instance, I had to go and have the drive cam replaced because they said that the firmware didn't take.
There you go, you're low.
Which is, you know, I don't understand like how you like mess up the firmware of a camera. And then while I was there, they claimed that a wheel seal was leaking, which I don't agree with. But a wheel seal is a 20-minute job. An idiot can do it in an hour. And somehow they turned that into a 4.5-hour job for them to get done. And then I was stuck getting late to all of my other deliveries or what have you. And because of that, I had to deal with, you know, a bunch of complaints and all of that stuff. And it's just ridiculous. There's no reason that a wheel seal would take 4.5 hours. It doesn't make sense to me. If you are someone who thinks that it makes sense that that would take that long, then that's fine. That's on you. You believe whatever the hell you want to. I will continue to disagree with it. But, you know, that's just life, I guess. And I had one instance where I would ask my asset manager is what they call it, because at Crete, the driver is an asset to the team. They absolutely need you. They care how you're doing and stuff like that, but they really don't give two shits despite what anybody says. I was guaranteed in orientation that I would get 2,500 to 3,000 miles a week. And then after I started working there, I never got that. Then when I talked to somebody in human resources afterwards, he told me that nobody should have ever told me that I would get that many miles a week because that would be impossible for what I was doing. And I thought that was a bit ridiculous that I would be told that, but not actually get paid what I should have been getting paid. I was told that I would get 60 cents per mile plus incentives for delivering reefer stuff like frozen and dairy. And that's what I was doing, but instead I was getting 46 cents per mile. Still not really sure how the hell that works out. But, you know, I can't say that it was all bad though. I mean, there were some instances that I actually did enjoy with what I was doing, you know. I did meet a few great people when I started. And the worst part was for me though, is that I gave them all my work history and gave them the phone numbers for all of the companies that, you know, I've done driving for. And I also gave them the information for the place where I went to for like trucking school or what have you. And even though I gave them all that, they still gave me a job. They put me in a truck. And then a month later, they get a hold of me telling me that they can't get a hold of the person that I was working for. And because of that, I needed to get them a notarized letter from somebody who knew for a fact that could prove that I was working for this guy. And I don't really have anybody that I can do that with. I work for a farmer. You know, if he doesn't get a hold of him, there's nothing I can do about that. So I told them I wasn't going to do that because it wasn't my responsibility. I gave them the information they needed when they hired me. They chose to not make sure they had all that information when they actually put me in a truck. And then they couldn't get a hold of the person who did the CDL training because he's no longer in business, but he also doesn't give certificates for whatever reason. I really don't know. But because of that, they said that if I didn't get them that information, they were going to put me out of service until I did, which again, I had no way to do that. And so because of that, I turned in the truck the other day, and today is my first day working in the field again. I'll be doing this for a little bit. I do have hopes for a better paying job after this because this is obviously seasonal because it's in a truck in a field working for a farmer. You're not going to do this in the wintertime in South Dakota. But all in all, if anybody is honestly thinking about going to Crete, I really do recommend against it. They are not the company that you think they are. The other people that I worked with was having the same issues I was with, like pay. They weren't getting paid what they were told. They're not getting the home time that they were told they would get. You know, if you're an owner-operator, you make roughly $2 a mile for all loads, and that is before any of your fuel costs or any of the other stuff that Crete does. They do offer a purchase program where it's not a lease purchase, you actually buy the truck. They have a company that they go through, I believe, for the financing. But as soon as you agree to do this and you put the down payment on the truck, which is around $3,000 to $5,000 depending on your credit, your name's on the title right away. Simple as that. That's the one good thing that I did like about them. And they are a debt-free company. So it wasn't all 100% like the worst job I've ever had. I believe the people working there definitely made it one of the worst jobs I've ever had. You know, I wasn't making the money that I said that they told me I was going to make. And so, you know, with all of those issues combined, I cannot recommend Crete as a company for anybody. If you really want to go ahead and go with Crete Carrier, do it. That's your prerogative. Don't let anybody tell you that you absolutely have to go with whatever company they want because you do you. but I can at least give you my recommendation against Crete. I do know that there was a guy on YouTube, I don't remember his name, not gonna lie, and he had a video where he was talking badly about Crete. It was the only video that I could find online where anybody was saying anything negative. And I thought, okay, well, this must be a really good company to work for because I can't find anything negative. All the people I've talked to before, you know, they enjoyed the company or what have you. But honestly, I learned that that guy's video was pretty spot on for the shit that I had to deal with that. There was another person whose name is Old Snapper, I think, and he's like, you know, he goes and talks shit about the guy doing his video because he claims you can't learn how a company works in 2 months' time, and I don't agree with that. You know, when I was working for them, they asked me what days I wanted off. I told them Mondays and Tuesdays, but if I did not tell them every week, hey, make sure you're routing me home because these are my set days off that you have access to see in your computer systems, I wouldn't get home. And it was a 7-hour drive from the distribution center that I was working out of to my house. So there were times where they wanted me to go 4.5 hours from my house and then deadhead home, and I wasn't really okay with that. But, you know, like, all of those issues are things that I had to deal with. If you do choose to go to Crete, I really, really, really hope that you don't deal with that. I hope that you have a better time than I did. There's a trucking, a guy who does trucking for Crete. He switched from Warner, I believe, and he has a great YouTube channel. It's The Joy of Trucking. It's him and his wife. He has a really good time with it. So if you're into it, you know, go for it. You do you. Check out his YouTube channel. It's Joy of Trucking. And let me know how you feel about Crete or what your beliefs are on the video and how you agree with it or not. Bye.